திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஆடும்பரிவேல் அணி சேவல் என பாடும் பணியே பணியாய் அருள்வாய் தேடும் கயமா முகனை செருவில் சாடும் தனி யானை சகோதரனே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். பூடியர்கோன் பொழித்த பொலியர்கோன் கடல் போற்றி ஆழிமிசை கல் மிதப்பில் அணைந்த பிரான் அடி போற்றி வாழி திருநாவலூர் வன்தொண்டர் பதம் போற்றி ஊழிமலி திருவாத ஊரர் திருத்தாள் போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி ஏகம்பத்துறை எந்தாய் போற்றி பாகம் மண்ணூறு ஆனாய் போற்றி பராய்த்துறை மேவிய பரணே போற்றி சிராப்பள்ளி மேவிய சிவனே போற்றி அண்ணாமலையமன்னா போற்றி கண்ணாரமுத கடலே போற்றி காவாய் கனகத்திரளே போற்றி கைலை மலையானே போற்றி போற்றி. வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். அண்ட சராசரங்களுக்கெல்லாம் அதிபதியாக விளங்கக்கூடிய முருகப்பெருமானுடைய ஒப்பற்ற பெரும் கருணையினாலே ஞானத்திரள் சார்பாக த ஹெரிடிட்டி ஆஃப் த கிரேட் டிசைபிள்ஸ் ஆஃப் சைவம் என்கிற தலைப்பிலே ஆங்கில தொடரை நாம் தொடர்ந்து இன்றைய தினமும் சிந்திப்பதற்கு திருவருள் கூட்டியிருக்கிறது. In the last few sessions, we have been discussing about the history of our great disciples of Shiva. We also discussed the hereditary, that is the starting from the Lord Dakshinamurti and his disciple Nandi, and in turn his disciple of course, he was having 8 to 10 numbers of disciples, out of which Sivakumar is the disciple for the Prapanjam, this Prapanjam. From Sivakumar to, as a matter of fact, from Sivakumar, Satyajnana Darshini, then Paranjyoti, then Meghanda Devanayana. Of course, I have narrated the basic concepts of Saiva Siddhantam propagated or presented through our mentors. That is, the principles of Saiva Siddhantam were originally taught by Lord Dakshinamurti, and the Saiva Siddhantam, the heredity, as a matter of fact, commences from Lord Dakshinamurti. So, the principles were passed on as the basic concepts of Saiva Siddhantam from Guru to disciple. From the disciple will become a Guru, and he will in turn pass on the concepts and principles. He will act, as a matter of fact, he will preach. He is a primary disciple about the concepts and other things. Likewise, it goes as a heredity. That is why it is called Parambare. Parambare means the heredity. So, the Aga Santana Kuravar, Pura Santana Kuravar, they were named as Santanam, means the heredity, as a matter of fact, as father and son. As father and son. Why we call it as father and son? Because the son reserves the right. He inherits the rights from his father, all rights, unwritten. Likewise, the disciple inherits all rights from his guru. whatever he was being taught by his guru, he is entitled to enlighten his disciples in turn and also to propagate the basic principles of Saiva Siddhanta. Likewise, Mehendar was taught by his guru the basic principles of Saiva Siddhantam by Paranjodhya, and this started the heredity in the earth, Prapanjam. This is called Purachantana Kurava. They are in number 4, Mehendar. Before that, Agachantana Kurava. Now we have Purachandana Kurava. Puram means related to this Prapancham. Related to this Prapancham. Agachantana Kuravar, they are not related to this Prapancham, they are related to Suddhamaye. This Prapancham is made out of Asuddhamaye and also Prakriti Maye. So these 4 Gurus, these 4 Gurus, mentors, these 4 belong to Purachandana Kuravar, to this Prapancham, and it starts from Mehendar. From Mehendar to Arunandi Sivam to Marayana Sambandham to Umabadi Sivam. So every Saivite should understand the basic principles of Saiva Siddhantam, and also he must be aware, he must have the knowledge of his gurus, the Agachantana Guru. That is Purachandana Guru, Agachandana Guru. He must be aware of all the names of Gurumas. For example, he must be aware of Mehendar, he must be aware of Arunandi Sivam, and then subsequently Marayana Sambandham, who was followed by Umabadi Sivam. These 4 are very important, and lot of branches commenced from these 4. And there were a lot of mutts available in Tamil Nadu, each having their own guru established, who established that particular mutt. Tiruvavadurai, Dharmayadinam, Tirupanandal. Likewise, there are mutts. So, of course, everybody worships Lord Siva as the primary god, and he is the supreme Lord, Lord Siva. Now, in the past 2 sessions, we narrated the story of our Mehendar, and also subsequently we talked about Arunandi Shivacharya. Now, Arunandi Shivacharya was having many disciples, out of which Marayana Sambandhar is the main disciple. Of course, he didn't do any work, books he has not done, no books he has done. But he finds a very important place in the chain of 4. That is Mehendar, Arunandi Sivam, and then Marayana Sambandhar, and then only Umabadi Sivam. Umabadi Sivam has written 8 books. Arunandi Sivam 2, Mehendar 1. Likewise, we have about 12 books. Of course, Marayana Sambandham has not done any book. But the way in which he preached our Umabadi Sivam was able to do lot of books relevant to Saiva Siddhanta. Let us see some facts about Marayana Sambandham. As I already told you, Marayana Sambandham was the disciple of Arunandi Shivacharya, who was the disciple of the Srila Sri Mehendar. Arunandi Shivacharya, likewise, see, any guru will be having a lot of disciples, out of which one will become the successor of the Guru. He will fit into that. So, likewise, Maranyana Sambandar was chosen by Arunandi Sivacharya as his primary disciple, and he followed and he inherited the disciple state from Arunandi Siva. Maranyana Sambandar, of course, he was born in Tirupennagudam. It is near Virudhachalam. And Lord Siva was the primary god for that family because he belongs to Saiva Brahmin family. Vaidiha, that is based on Vedams, their heredity followed Vedas. Vaidiham. Out of that family, he hailed in a Saiva Brahmin family. Of course, even though he hailed from that family, he was more attached to the Tirumurais. Works done by Tiruyana Sambandar, Tirunavukasar, he was more attracted, and he was practicing these books only, and he was quoting Tirumurais, Jnana Sambandar songs and Appar Swami songs and Sundaramurti songs. He belongs to 13th century. Of course, he learnt a lot of things from Vedas, Agamas and everything. Of course, he was taught in order these books by their family, because he hailed from a Saiva Brahmin family, and they were very keen in bringing up this child with all the principles of Vedams and Agams being taught to him. Some or other, he was not interested in family life. He was looking for a suitable guru for invocation, and also he was willing to live away from all the chains of this world. So, some or other, by God's grace or by fortune, he met Arunandi Sivacharya and fell on his feet to accept him as his disciple and grace him with the preachings. He is willing to, he told him that he is willing to leave away all these family bindings, and he wants to get the feet of Lord Shiva, and he prayed his Guru to show him the way to attain the lotus feet of Lord Shiva. On seeing his maturity and seeing his sincere and honest, keen interest, Arunandi Sivacharya accepted him as his disciple and preached him. And also he taught him the lessons of Saiva Siddhanta, including Shivajnana Bodham. So, understanding all the principles of Saiva Siddhantam, Maranyana Sambandam was full of Lord Shiva's grace. Now, to complete the story of, or the real story of our Maranyana Sambandar, we have to take the story of Arunandi Sivacharya, not only Arunandi Sivacharya, but also his disciple Umavati Sivam story also to be narrated along with that, because his story will not be completed if we don't consider Umavati Sivam. Because our Marayal Sambandham was in Tirupennagadam, and later on, after the Sayuchyam of his Guru, he went to Tillai, Sidambaram, and he started residing there. He was there. He was wandering in the streets, not having any fixed place to stay. He was wandering in the streets. He would be sitting at the entrance of any house, getting anything. At that time, he felt hungry, not keen about the food or dress, and his place of dwelling was also not fixed. Wherever he feels sleepy, he will be sleeping there. Wherever he feels sitting, he will sit there. Likewise, his life was going on. Not a fixed place. He is not, because he was very much interested in attaining the lotus feet of Lord Siva, and he was very keen not to get any binding out of any way. See, if we have a dwelling place, we will have attachment to that place. If we have a dress, we will have an attachment to that dress. If we have any taste, sense towards the food, then we will have attachment towards it. So, some or other he wants to cut off all the attachments, and that is why he just led the way of his life in such a way, no attachment practically and theoretically was there in his life. He saw to it that no attachment in any form should creep up in his life, and it should not be a hurdle or a blockage for his attainment or reaching of Lord Shiva's grace. Likewise, his life was going on. One day he was sitting at the front side of a house. And there was a small dais in front of that house. He was sitting there. At that time, one of the priests of Sidambaram, the priests of Sidambaram are called Tillaivaazhandanar. They are a special family. The family reserves the right to perform puja for Lord Nadaraja. Nobody else can come and do the puja. Only that family, families, there are 3,000 in number, but today it has gone down to 300 or 350. At that time, there were 3,000 families. Tillaivaazhandanar 3000 பேர் at that time. But subsequently, century after century, the number getting on diminishing, and today the toll is about 300 to 350. I do not know correctly, but we were being told that there are only 300 to 350 families there, and the priests belonging to this family who are married, they reserve the right to perform the puja for Lord Nadaraja. Out of these families, there was one priest going to the temple, and they will be going in a cart with a special these things, that is a tivati, that is called a lamp. Even in the daylight, the lamp will be held by a man going in the front side, or leading the procession. So he will be going with all these things to the temple on a cart, and he was watching. Marayal Sambandhar was watching. He said, why these priests requires a lamp during daytime? The lamp was being held by a man who is going in the procession. He was holding the torch. Why he must hold a torch in the daylight? He is the priest, day blind, he called. That was heard by that priest, a particular priest. He was shocked. What that man on the street, he didn't know that he was Marayana Sambandar. He didn't know that first of all. So he got down from his cart and rushed towards him. You told me day blind. It created me a feel that I should get the preaching from you. Kindly teach me, kindly accept me as your disciple. Marayana Sambandar in turn told, I am not interested to take you as my disciple. I don't have a fixed place to reside. I don't have anything belongs to me. Why should I take you as my disciple? I don't have anything to part with, he said. In turn, that priest told him, don't say like that. You have plenty of grace with you. You must pass on the grace to me. If you just look at me with kindness, if you just look at me with your kindness, I may be blessed. So he was requesting him to bless him as his disciple. Of course, he didn't answer. He went on his way. Marayana Sambandar didn't look at him. He just went on his way. But that priest didn't leave him. Didn't leave him. See, he abruptly followed. He just forgot where did he come from, where he was proceeding, what was his duty. Everything was forgotten. And he just gave up everything because of this man. So, he just gave up everything. He abandoned everything, including his relationship with everybody. And he was having only idea that this Guru, he is my Guru and he has to accept me as his disciple. Till that time, I will be following him. I don't have any rest now. I should follow him and get that position. So, like that, he was going after him, forgetting his rights about the temple, forgetting his the position, forgetting his everything, forgetting everything. As a matter of fact, can we say that not forgetting? Can we say that quitting? He just wiped off everything, every possession, every fame, every name, all that thing he just sacrificed for his Guru. He was having only idea of that being accepted by this Guru as his disciple. So he was following him. Wherever he went, he just followed him without worrying about his food and all. As a matter of fact, this priest, the Chidambaram priest, was starving, as a matter of fact, but he didn't care about it. He was following him. One day, the next day maybe, he felt hungry. The Marayana Sambandar felt hungry. Suddenly, he was passing through a weaver's street. He went to them and asked them, I am feeling hungry, can you give me some food? Those people shared with him their food, and the residue was dripping down from his hand, and this priest, Chidambaram priest, rushed towards him, and he took the residue, the remains of his food as Guru Prasadam. Seeing that, the Guru, Marayana Sambandar, was moved, because when he sacrificed his possession, when he sacrificed all his belongings, the first test he passed. The second one, he passed the test of taking anything from Guru, not from anybody else. So even though he was starving, he didn't mind about his food. He was following him, and he just took the remains of the food of the Guru. So seeing that, the Guru was moved for his sincerity, and he accepted him as his disciple and named him as Umapati Sivam. The invocation was completed, and he was named as Umapati Sivam. He was accepted as the primary disciple. The news went on to everybody. It was spread, and the priests of Chidambaram they were not able to digest this fact, and they all met and took a decision to remove Umapati Sivam from their group. So automatically he lost the right of performing the puja for Lord Shiva. When he went to the temple, he was not accepted. He was asked to go back. He was told that he cannot come into the temple because he breached all the rules of this Tilevar Randana. How can he go and accept somebody as his guru, not accepted by their families? He didn't care. Okay, if that was your decision, well and good. He returned. Then in his place, another priest came forward to perform the puja. When he opened the chest, wherein Ratana Sabhavati will be there, every day the Ratana Sabhavati, for Ratana Sabhavati, the main puja will be performed. When the priest was looking for Ratana Sabhavati, on opening the chest, to his astonishment and shock, he was not able to find. That was not there. Ratana Sabhavati was not there. He raised alarm. Everybody was shocked, and they heard a voice telling them that only if Umapati Sivam comes here, you would be able to see me. Otherwise, you won't be able to see me. Bring Umapati Sivam to the temple. On his presence, I will be seen. I will be visible. That was the saying everybody heard. So they rushed to the mutt of Umapati Sivam and requested him to come over to the temple because of the incident took place. Okay, Umapati Sivam was joyful and he appreciated the situation, and he thanked the Lord Shiva, that is Lord Nadaraja, for making him to visit the temple by his grace. He came over and he performed the puja for Ratana Sabhavati, and that was the preaching done to the priests to understand the greatness of Umapati Sivam. Umapati Sivam was asked by his mentor, Guru, to do a work on Saiva Siddhantam, purely based on Saiva Siddhantam, of course, for the beginners of Saiva Siddhantam. People should be able to understand the Saiva Siddhantam in simple language and also at the same time not complicated. He was asked by his guru to do a book on Saiva Siddhantam in a simple manner so that everybody can understand the Saiva Siddhantam, the basic principles of Saiva Siddhantam. Umabhati Sivam accepted the command of his guru and he did a book called Thiruvarutpayan. The Thiruvarutpayan consists of about 100 couplets, each couplet with 7 phrases. In Tamil it is called a scene. There are only 2 lines. The first line is having 3 C's, the second one is with 3. So, a small couplet, in a small couplet, the Umabhati Sivam was able to give the basic principles of Saiva Siddhantam in a simple form. Even now, beginners in Saiva Siddhantam, they will be taught only Thiruvarutpayan as the first book. Then Umabhati Sivam was called to do more books in detail. Umabhati Sivam did Siva Prakasam, also some other books. One day, the car festival came for Chidambaram, and during the festival, the flag will be hoisted on the first day. When all the priests gathered and tried to hoist the flag, they were not able to be successful, and everybody prayed, Lord Nararaja, kindly bear with our mistake. We have to hoist the flag. We are not able to do it. Kindly bear with our mistakes and graces. They were begging. Then at that time, they were being told by Asariri, a sound in the sky. He told them that if Umabhati Sivam arrives here, the flag can be successfully hoisted. Then once again, they rushed to Umabhati Sivam and begged him to excuse them, to bear with them for not having invited him for the festival. Then Umabhati Sivam came over there and he sung called Kodi Kavi with 4 songs. When he was singing, the flag was hoisted step by step and it was finally completed. So Umabhati Sivam, even though he was not accepted by the temple priests of Chidambaram, Lord Nadaraja at every time showed that he was very close to the Lordship, very close to Lordship. Umabhati Sivam was having his own mutt in Kotrangudi near Chidambaram, Kotrangudi, he was there. And at that time, in Chidambaram, there was one man, Petran Samban. His name is Samban. He was there supplying log of woods for the firewoods, as a matter of firewoods, for the Madapalli in the temple. He was supplying. He was having true, sincere, honest bhakti of Lord Nadaraja. He would be standing on the streets and he would be having a long distant view of Sri Nadaraja and he would be shedding tears on seeing him. His bhakti was appreciated by one and all. Even though he was not able to go nearby, he was not allowed to go enter into the temple. He was allowed to go to Madapalli at the back entrance and he was allowed to supply log of. He won't be able to have the close darshan of Lord Nataraja. But he was having abundant measure of love for Lord Nataraja, and he was always thinking about him day and night. His sincere love, Lord Nataraja, he knows, isn't it? He knows everybody's interest, everybody's love. The love's nature and the strength of love can be felt only by the Lord. I cannot measure the love of anybody else. I cannot measure or I cannot know the strength of love of anybody. But Lord Shiva knows everybody's love because he resides within the soul. So nobody needs to tell him about their love. He knows by himself. Likewise, he was aware of the sincere love shown by Petran Samban. One day he gave him a small chit. It is called a letter nowadays. He gave him a chit and told him to deliver this letter to Umapati Sivam, who was in Matte, Kotrangudi Matte. Petran Samban took that letter, went to the Matte, but he didn't give the letter to the Guru. On seeing the Matte, he thought, we can supply the wood here also. We are giving firewood to the temple. We can supply the firewood here also. So he started giving the firewood every day to the Matte also. One day it rained and he was not able to go to the temple and as well as to the Matte. Because of the non-supply of firewood, there was a delay felt in the Madapalli. And the Guru asked why a delay today. And he was being told that the Samban supplying firewoods didn't turn up. Then he asked these people, if he is coming tomorrow, let him meet me. He gave the orders. So the next day when he went to the Matte, he was asked to meet Guru. Hey, please wait. Our Guru wanted to meet you. Then he asked why. Yesterday you didn't turn up, isn't it? Yesterday it rained and I was not able to come. That's true. So he wants to see you. Please wait. The people told him and he was waiting there. At that time he remembered that a chit was given by Lord Nataraja to deliver to the Guru of Matte. So he remembered, oh, this is a good opportunity to give the chit to the Guru. So he was waiting, Guru turned up and the Guru asked him, why did you come to yesterday? He asked. You didn't turn up yesterday, isn't it? Why? He asked. Then Samban told him, I am having a chit given by Lord Nataraja. So I have to deliver it to you, he told him. The Guru was not able to understand. He was asking some question, this fellow is answering something else. Anyway, he is saying that he is bringing letter from Lord Nataraja and the Guru was interested in that. So he asked him, come on, give me that chit. He got the chit and went through that letter. அடியார்க்கு எளியன் சிற்றம்பலவன் குற்றம் குடியார்க்கு எழுதிய கைச்சீட்டு படியின் மிசை பெற்றான் சாம்பானுக்கு பேதமர தீக்கை செய்து முத்தி கொடுக்க முறை. So at that time the strength of Guru is, if he thinks that the soul is fit enough, matured and it deserves the merit, then the Guru can send him to the Sivalokam. He would be able to do it. The Guru is so powerful. Guru is so powerful. But the only thing is, the soul should be having that maturity. It should be having the deserving status, it is called Paribaha, Mala Paribaha. So at that time, Samban fulfilled all the conditions and he was fit enough to reach Sivalokam. That was not known to him at all. So many people say that my bhakti is very much so the people, God will be very happy with me. He would be taking me to Sivalokam. People will be thinking, but this Samban, even though he deserves all the qualifications, he was not having a single idea about going to Sivalokam. He was thinking that I am the most unwanted devotee of Lord Shiva. I am not at all mature. That was his idea. So he didn't think at any time that his bhakti was very matured. He was not having any idea about it. As a matter of fact, he was carrying a chit in which the information is only about him. He was not aware of that fact also. He was carrying a chit. He was carrying out the orders of Lord Nataraja. Lord Nataraja asked him to deliver the chit to the Guru. But the letter refers to his matter. Even that he didn't know. So when he delivered the letter, he thought that something is going on between Lord Nataraja and this Guru. So Lord Nataraja wanted to convey some message and he sent a letter to him. That was the idea of Samban. But when the Guru went through the letter, Umabhati Siva went through the letter, he was shocked and astonished. The man who is bringing firewood to the mud is deserving all the qualifications to reach the lotus feet of Lord Shiva in Sivalokam. It was unbelievable. So the Guru was asked by Lord Shiva to grace him, to do the invocation and to send him to the Sivalokam. And immediately he asked Samban to come near him. He performed all the invocations and the next minute he vanished and he reached Sivalokam. Everybody was shocked and astonished. So that much of power Umabhati Sivam was having. Umabhati Sivam, to show his might, how mightier he is, Lord Shiva performed this, the great thing. In this prapancham, we must understand that people should get themselves qualified to reach the next status that is being dictated by our agamams. In our Shastras, this is being told that we go on crossing stages. We are going crossing stages. There are stages in the way of our life. There are stages in way of life to reach Lord Shiva. Then we must be aware of the stages and we must be proceeding towards the stages. We must have a Guru. We must abide by the teachings of Guru. We must have a sincere and honest attempts to fulfill the conditions of the laid by the Guru. So we have been studying about the chain of our Gurus, starting from Meghandar and subsequently followed by our Arunandi Shivacharya and subsequently the Maraiyana Sambandhar and subsequently our Umabhati Sivam. Umabhati Sivam has done 8 works. He was considered to be the very powerful Guru, a mentor, lived at that time of century. He belongs to 13th century and in that 13th century he was considered to be the most powerful Guru lived. in that century. So likewise, the mentors belonging to the Purachantana Kuravar, that is related to this Prapancham, these four gurus, we must be aware of their preachings and teachings, even though four books, that is, first one is Sivakumar Bodham, the second one is Sivanyana Siddhya, the third one is Sivaprahasam, and the fourth one is Thiruvarutpayan. Thiruvarutpayan is the book, reference for the beginners, because in simple language, in simple ways, the basic principles of Saiva Siddhantam has been narrated by Umapati Shivam. He did the work only deliberately for the beginners. And then the Sivaprakasam and Sivanyana Siddhya and Sivanyana Bodham, these three books, of course, you must have some guru and you must learn the books only through guru. Of course, you can, nowadays so many books are available on this, so many descriptions have been given, so many people have explained a lot of things, but even then it is prescribed that these books should be taught by a guru and the student should learn them with more devotion and attachment towards the basic principles of Saiva Siddhanta. The Saiva Siddhanta principles, it was carried over from centuries to century by so many people of our religion, especially Tiriyana Sambandar, Tirunavukarasar, Sundaramurti Swamigal. They belong to 7th century and 9th century. Then in 10th century, so many people came over. Only in 12th century, Meigandar started doing Sivanyana Bodham. So all the Shastra books were available only from 12th and 13th century. Before that, there were two books, Tirukalittupadiyar and Tirundiyar, and those are two books considered in the 14 books of Saiva Siddhantam. Of course, those books give the hints of Saiva Siddhantam. The very beautiful point of those two books, they refer very nicely Tirumurais, that is Devaram and Tiruvasagam. Lot of references have been given in these three books. So, if we want to learn Saiva Siddhantam, people are requested to go through or to learn only Saiva Siddhanta Shastras, especially Thiruvarutpayan, Sivaprahasam, Sivanyana Siddhya, and then Sivanyana Bodham. And Sivanyana Bodham, a very descriptive work has been done by Sivanyana Munivar called Mahabhadiyam, Dravida Mahabhadiyam or Sivanyana Mahabhadiyam, it is called. Of course, if you that requires a lot of knowledge about Saiva Siddhantam, it's not very easy to learn Sivanyana Mahabhadiyam. You must put out a lot of efforts to understand Sivanyana Mahabhadiyam. Okay, now in the last few sessions we have been discussing about our mentors belonging to this Prapancham. I have told you we must have the segregation of Gurumars. Agachantana Kuravargal, Purachandana Kuravargal. Why we have this segregation? Because Agachandana Kuravar, that is Kuravar means I have told you Guru. Agachandana Kuravargal, they belong to Suddhamaya and these புறச்சந்தான குறவர்கள், they are pertaining to the souls living in this prapancham made out of prakriti maya. So we have been given in black and white. All the materials are written materials. Materials are available in written form. So it was made easy to get the knowledge of the Shastras. And we must have a course of learning these books through a guru, so that we should not misunderstand the basic principles of Saiva Siddhanta. That is why people are asking to learn Devaram and Tiruvasakam, all the Tirumurais, after learning Saiva Siddhanta, because those things should be understood under the principles or based on the principles of Saiva Siddhanta. Otherwise, our understanding will be tarnished by the distorted principles of these Siddhantam, Saiva Siddhanta. Only by referring the pure form of Shastras, our books, we will not be able to get the correct form of Siddhanta. With this, I want to conclude this today's session about our mentors. Next week, we will continue our session with a new topic, and I want to give the details about the Sivalokam also. At this time, I want to mention the sponsorship made by the couple of Qatar, Mrs. Saravanan and Mr. Saravanan. Both of them are very much interested in taking up this matter to the people who may not be well versed with the Tamil. So their main motive is that these things should be taught and these things should be taken to the people who belong to Saivam, but at the same time they may not be well versed with the Tamil. So they would not be able to follow the principles in Tamil. So for their benefit, the Qatar couple has arranged the serial of lectures. See, it is very difficult to narrate Saiva Siddhantam in English because the terminology or the vocabulary is not rich in English as far as Saiva Siddhantam is concerned. We have to coin out a lot of words in English for the Saiva Siddhantam. As a matter of fact, we have to build a bibliography for Saiva Siddhantam also, because if we say some English word referring to Saiva Siddhantam, even an Englishman will not be able to understand, because those words are not familiar with them, isn't it? So that is why sometimes I am just referring the original Tamil names itself. For example, Guru. If I say Guru, even in English it can be understood as Guru. If I say mentor, it may not be a very correct or exact equivalent word of Guru. Guru is more than mentor. So likewise, I am just trying to coin out some words at the time it's required, but people will be definitely benefited, even though they are not well versed with the Tamil. They would be able to appreciate the serials, I hope. It is giving some of the basic principles of the Saiva Siddhantam. But my advice would be learn Tamil, and through Tamil try to understand Devaram, Tiruvasakam and also Shastrams. That will be more. If this series of lectures, if it creates some interest in you to learn the Tamil, then that is the success of these serials. Anyway, so I am just using this opportunity again to thank once again our Qatar couple, and kindly pass on this information. If you are able to witness this session, then kindly pass on this information to other people also. So more people hearing this session will be benefited, and that is the motive of this serial of lectures. With this, I am just concluding, and let me chant the 5-letter mantra 5 times. I request you to follow me wherever you are. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஓம் நம சிவாய. 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 திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, என் நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி. வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.